Welcome to the Quick 10 podcast, brought to you by Trac, focusing on all things FedCon and cyber defense from different perspectives and different personalities, all in 10-ish minutes. Here's your host, Derek White.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Quick 10 podcast here from Tampa, Florida, live and in person. Very happy to be joined here by a good friend of ours, Jerry. Thank you for stepping aside. I know you're up on the docket here pretty soon. Yep. So thank you. Tell the listeners, watchers a little bit about who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm Jerry Leishman. I'm out of Seattle, Washington. I've been involved in the CMMC ecosystem for the last 5 years. I was on the cybersecurity standards group, co-chair of the CMMC industry standards group, ran a business out of the Seattle Northwest area, served probably 20, 30 of the defense industrial bases around CMMC. Currently, I'm working with NeoSystems, which is a large managed service provider, and AOSG at Microsoft, delivering on the Office 365, GCC High, Azure Gov to help the defense industrial base suppliers protect their CUI and their ITAR data so they can ultimately get audit ready and pass the upcoming CMMC certs to get awarded contracts in the future. So it's I work at the strategic level, so I do a lot of C-level kind of education and help them get informed so they can make informed decisions about how to navigate this journey, and most of them need that help. Most are early on in the journey, so I focus in that area. And as you mentioned, I'm speaking today. I speak a lot of the conferences today. I'm going to be doing the C3PAO dating game. And it sounds kind of weird, right? If you all remember the dating game back with the age, a long time ago, where, again, you've got to ask the right questions, select the right set of partners, and in this case, your C3PO or your auditor, because you got to look at, they're going to get along with you. They're going to understand your business. Yep. And you got to like them, right? They're going to be a big part of your journey. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, have some fun today about the questions.
Yeah, that's going to be this, and this is I think the beauty of day two. There's some really specific topics, things that will not be stale content for the foreseeable future. I mean, this is stuff that's, regardless of when somebody watches what we're talking about right now, will be relevant for quite some time, which is good. But you can see it, you can sense it. We've been talking about very common themes here at this event. Is it's sold out. People do want to know things, not just about how to do it themselves and how to do a provider, but also from the C3PO side. So what are some of the, I don't want you to spoil it since this is coming up on the thing, but what kind of things are you always a little cautious of to make sure you let people know when they are looking, they are pursuing who they want to interview? Don't give it away. Don't spoil it for anybody. Well, I guess they're not going to watch it anyway, but because it's not online. But what are some of those things for the listeners and watchers that stick out right away when you're picking a C3PAO?
Well, the most important is, that they have been qualified as a C3PAO, and there's a whole process to go through. Yep. It's not easy. And, that's step one. If they're not, and they're not accredited by the Cyber AB, then you're getting audited and paying money and not getting the cert you're going to want. Mm-hmm. But more importantly is you got to make sure that somebody has experience doing this with multiple clients, and hopefully clients or customers that are in your similar industry. So if you're a manufacturer, you have a lot of, shop floor equipment. Mm-hmm. You want somebody that knows that. So when they're auditing you, they know the business. You don't spend a lot of time and money educating them on your type of business. And when you're a C3PO, you don't get trained on the different environments. You're just trained on the process. So it's good to select one that has experience in your area of work. The other one is they got to be a culture fit. Just talking to them, interviewing them, you got to be able to have a comfortable conversation with them. You don't want an adversarial conversation. They're all getting to the same endpoint, which is to validate that you're implemented the controls are providing the outputs as expected. And there's lots of different ways to do that, just like going from point A to point B. Yeah. So you want to be selective and pick the right journey with the right customer or with the right C3PO. So it's an enjoyable journey. And the other part is if you've got one that's worked with similar environments like the Microsoft stack or using, future feed, for example, for your GRC tool, they're more familiar with that. So when you get in conversations, they know where to go, where to look, and they have confidence in what you've done. Yeah. So those are all kind of things to figure out who the right one is for you to work with.
Yeah, one of the questions I think I heard yesterday during one of the sessions around that was, okay, I have my relationship with my C3PO. I go through my assessment. I pass. Great. Mm-hmm. We make changes in 6 months.
Yes.
I think what I'm hearing you there and say isn't agree or disagree, but that relationship with your C3PAO and those that you work with matter because they need to understand your environment. You can't just be showing up saying, ask me all these questions. They need to know. That's why the scoping calls are required and all these things, right? Does that matter for when people that aren't just going to, they move locations, they get new contracts, they grow and make changes? Is that accurate?
Well, I think it's really important that any sort of change to the environment or the boundary that you get certified on, you may have to get recertified if there's a merger and
Right.
acquisition or if you bring in a new system.
Mm-hmm.
So what I recommend, the most important person is going to your contract officer, say, hey, this is happening. Are you okay with that? And if they say no, you're really messing things up. You're going to have to get re-audited.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the important thing. You could ask your C3PO up front, as I don't know how much advising they can do because they're about, assessing, not
You wanna separate
advising.
that in- Yep. Yep.
So you'd have to have another resource to say, hey, if I make these changes, is it significant enough to require another audit? And, again, the answer is going to go back to the contract officer. They're the one that are going to make that decision, not your consultant or your C3PO. It's the contract officer.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say yes, then you got to go through it. Then you do an incremental sort of audit with probably the same C3PO that knows your environment, but you can narrow it down and do a lot faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
But that's the approach that you probably want to think about and take.
And that's good. I mean, those were questions that for the last couple of years were fairly unclear in some areas, like exactly how, which is good to see more clarity on that, which is
Mhm.
nice. I think that's why I do think we see more people paying attention. But as we always talk about too, I know when we catch up is you don't focus so much on that because you have a lot of things to focus on first before you start getting into your C3. But engage now. We've talked to in the last couple of days are busy. Like you want to,
Yep.
the ones that are good are busy. The other ones there's people that are newer. In the next couple of years, we need more of them, right? So I'm excited to watch your panel today, your presentation. That'll be good, and it sounds like you're gonna have a little flavor to it.
Yeah. This,
Not
this stuff's
not
boring.
make it stale. Yeah, that's
Yeah. I
good.
mean, how often can you go through, hundreds of pages of documentation,
Yeah.
requirements, and rules and get excited about that? So you got to do
Where
something to get excited.
we do, and 2 days of conferences back to 8 to 5. Those are long days, so it's good to bring some spice to it. So, what are
Yep.
some areas where you're seeing some excitement, some things that you've been waiting for this CMMC thing to roll out, and you start seeing you see the work of the ecosystem, and I know I hate to use that term sometimes, but
Yeah.
the collective we that are
Yeah,
trying to do things. Where do you see that?
Well, I'm seeing it in several ways, right? With Katie Arrington being brought into the executive government to reinforce and drive CMMC to implementation, probably not only for the DoD, but probably for the federal government. So that is a big sign. Here at this conference, there's probably 6 or 7 new vendors here, selling a variety of services from security products to managed service providers to other sorts of capabilities that show that people are recognizing there's a market, that they see it, and they're showing up.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some ways to go to learn. I've been here 5 years, so the newbies, they got a ways to go. And then the other thing that's starting to happen is we're seeing more organizations seeking compliance here locally, but we're also starting to see some international folks.
Mm.
I was in Dallas last week, and we had folks from Switzerland come in, and they had 5,000 people, and they had to get what's going on here in the U.S. because they know, as being part of a supplier of the DoD, they have to meet the same level of obligations.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of education outside the U.S. right now, which is there's a need to do that. We're starting to talk about international events
Mm-hmm.
to help educate the international supplier. So seeing the energy here, the international folks coming in, seeing what's going on in the DoD are all, again, indicators that we're on that right path.
Yeah.
And I think with, throwing my 2 cents in, with President Trump trying to eliminate regulation, what we're going to see is instead of having agencies have their own little flavor of what cybersecurity is, we're going to get to one for the federal government. So we're reducing regulations across the federal government with one based on NIST 171 that everybody can align behind, reduce their costs, and do it well. And the ones that do it well first are going to be able to go and sell their services across all the federal businesses and have an opportunity to take market share and market lead in this space. So it's a super opportunity for companies that are leaning in here to go and build their market shares across the country.
Awesome. Yeah, that's another topic that came up yesterday. Was international questions were coming up more and more than they ever have. So
Yeah.
so yes, very big focus. Again, another topic that won't be, but will not be relevant for the next foreseeable future, which is good.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to watch that evolve. Well, thank you again, Jerry. We go way back, and it's always fun seeing people that we have been in the weeds and in the mud
and
and
walked
whatever
the
else you wanna
journey
call it,
together.
walked the journey together for years and years.
Yeah.
So it is fun to see that people have stayed on their track, stayed on their mission, stayed on their focus, which is good.
Yep.
Where do you want people listening or watching to sync up with you, see where they can find you?
Yeah, the easiest way is to find me on LinkedIn, Jerry Leishman, and that travels with me wherever I go. And then I'm always available through that. Just reach out, and if you want questions or want to connect to somebody, I'm always available. This whole ecosystem is growing, and it's a great set of networked partners here, like Beryllium and Cuick. It's you've actually been my partner in the past,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
some of my customers are actually on your platform. So you are a proven supplier for us. So continue that relationship and go. And if they want to,
And did not pay you to say that, so thank you.
I know,
Kind
but
words. No, I'm just
but I do.
this is not a
I
paid
do know it's true
sponsorship.
though. So it's and
No, I
we've had a
appreciate that.
relationship for 5 years.
That's where not everybody has to be out looking for themselves. It's about getting the customers what they need. So we're very appreciative of that. And same thing. It is a great network. The social events after the show last night were until 10 o'clock at night. People are still talking, still exchanging ideas, and I didn't know that, and wow, that's new. I didn't, that was fun. I'm actually losing my voice because of that. So it's been
Yeah.
great. So thank you for spending a few minutes. Really do appreciate it. And we'll sync up again. And good luck at your session here today. And looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to this episode, and make sure to subscribe to the Quick 10 podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and check us out on YouTube as well. For more information about Trac, visit our website at www.cuicktrac.com. That's CuickTrac.com.